planet as we do. But if you take one look at their media, you'd think they're extraterrestrials, like a
Level Ups, you're ignoring Halcyon.
in Hawaii.
Actually, Level Ups isn't here.
Adventure, Suma Gakire ni Wata
Wait, whoa. What the fuck?
JoJo's
Hold on, I wasn't listening.
exists on the same planet as we do. But if you take one look at their media, you'd think they're extraterrestrials, like a dragon, pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Ichi the Killer.
Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii? When was this made? 1 year ago? This is not the one Most Critical reacted to.
JoJo's
So it's some different.
Suma Gakire.
Oh, what's the name? So I can make sure to avoid it. The reason why my wife got prettier.
In the Watawake, the reason why my wife got prettier, episode 2, vertical bar anime hentai 1080p.
Alright.
So obedient to rules and tradition. When they want to kick
I think you need to go. I think this is the best time to join.
nerds into total degenerate freaks. They make cuties look like Dora the Explorer. Well, I think Cuties was trying to look like Dora the Explorer. I think that was kind of the point, but I digress. One aspect of entertainment which makes America look neutered in comparison is their reality TV, or more specifically, their game shows. I'm sure you're all
What the
aware that
fuck?
Japanese game shows are on another level. For example, one
What?
of my top 10 favorite YouTube videos of all time is Crazy Japanese Game Wall of Boxes, where two teams sit upon a wall built by these cardboard cubes and have to pick numbers off of a board at random. Each number is associated with some Final Fantasy summon-like attack, which takes place
What
on
the
your portion
fuck?
of the wall. Some do surprisingly little to no damage, and others can strike a fatal blow. Either way, it makes me giggle. Many people's
What the fuck are these game shows on? Thank you, Callie. Oh, that was Halcyon. Thanks, both of you. And no one can blame me, I want to say. No one can blame me. What we got going on here? We're watching the craziest Japanese game show ever. It gets really bad. It gets really crazy. Not just like crazy, like, oh, this is funny, this is hilarious, whatever. It's like bad. It's really bad. Like, kind of like, what the fuck were they thinking? Bad.
genre was the poorly dubbed Most Extreme Elimination Challenge on
Oh,
TV in the
gosh.
2000s.
Remember, science is fun. And here, of course, George Huffman and Tommy Crystal. Tommy's
Think about this, man. With AI, if it gets really good and takes off and people can afford it, imagine they just make AI game shows. Oh my gosh, I hate AI so fucking much. We literally have AI brain rot and freaking Apolita cracking the fucking watermelon. And I hate AI.
He wants to grow up to be a chemist.
MXC with G Leduc. Who is that? What are all those words you just told? Wait, is that what that was?
Meth lab. Right you are, but not a very inspirational.
Oh my gosh. Hey, how the fuck do you know that?
Which was just repurposed footage from a Japanese game show called
Oh, they left.
Castle. This performed so well that ABC tried to do an Americanized version of it called I Survived a Japanese Game Show in the 2000s, but it bombed. ABC tried once again in the 2010s to more success with the clearly Japanese-inspired Wipeout, which was even revived for a second run in 2021. But if you've seen a real Japanese game show, you know what's up. It's not the same. There's something undeniable about the Japanese mindset and sensibility that gives them this edgy, not so concerned for their own safety spirit that would just never be able to exist in the West. And as these Japanese game shows over time slowly started to evolve into what is now known as reality TV, in the 1990s, there was one show in particular that had more spirit and more edge than any other show that had come before it, and most that would come after. One man's willingness to subject himself to a years-long bout of psychological torture not only created one of the most unique, groundbreaking, and avant-garde pieces of entertainment ever developed, but also transformed a then unknown comedian into a celebrity
Pyro.
and later a national.
What are we watching? Everyone always fucking joins at the worst time. Everybody joins when it's on Pornhub. Everybody joins when the guy's dick is out. Nobody joins when I explain what's going on. Why?
One. Oh, crazy you.
Tomoaki Hamatsu was born on August.
We're
3rd
watching the craziest Japanese game show.
Japan. He'd get bullied as a boy for having an oblong-shaped head. The kids at school used to tease him for
He does have an abnormally tall head. And this bun doesn't help.
it in
Take your meds, you're right.
name Nasubi, which is the Japanese word for eggplant, the oblong-shaped vegetable. The kid in this
What
situation
frontal and
was
temporal are
when
after.
you get singled out from the pack and become the target du jour for your peers, there's like one of three things that you can do. One, you get lucky, the pack mentality chooses a new target to dogpile, taking the heat off yourself, but you're not actually dealing with the issue. If you manage to get path number one, if you're smart, you join in on the dogpile, sneakily establishing yourself as one of the group at the expense of one of your classmates who is now lower on the totem pole. Number two, develops
I will say I never was really bullied in school like that. But I don't know. I was gonna say, like, I feel like I just avoided it. And I didn't do either.
some sort of skill or talent that
But I'm just a chill guy even since back then. Taking my folic acid. Nice.
will endear you to your peers and become
If I talk about did I get banned on TikTok for bullying and harassment like last time? Is mentioning the word
part
I hate
of the
TikTok.
crowd, ultimately becoming stronger and more refined as a human. Or part of the in crowd, ultimately becoming stronger and more refined as a human. Or three, growing antisocial apathy to the world, and well,
Right.
we've seen where that can lead. Luckily for our protagonist, Natsubi went with option number two and learned that if he could make the other kids laugh, they would not only get off his back, but begin to form bonds with them, learning at a young age that he could use this tool for socialization. Through entertaining his classmates is where he began to dream of becoming an entertainer, growing up to be a big star. Flash forward to 1997, a now 23-year-old Nasubi moved from Fukushima, leaving all of his friends and family behind for life in the big city, Tokyo, chasing his dream of becoming a star.
Bro, I so want to live in a city like this, bro. I want to live in a city where, like, I can just walk around everywhere. Only, what bro, I'm crying. I'm scrolling on my FYP and the only thing I see is the jacking off scene, bro. Why does no one ever like that's like actually like that's 6 people in a row that only join on the fucking worst times. When the video goes to Pornhub, 4 people join and then ask what's going on. I explain. When I explain, nobody's listening, and then keep crying. It's gonna happen again. People are gonna join and say the same thing.
This is where he'd meet Toshio Tsuchiya. Tsuchiya at this time, and still is, considered to be this wacky TV producer. Wacky in the sense that he'd produce these really outlandish, groundbreaking game shows where he'd push the contestants to their limits and then push them a little more, seeing how far he can make people bend for a bit of break. Side tangent, the whole reason this story even piqued my interest,
no one joined at that part though,
is that it bears a lot of resemblance to season
Ireland
Fish Tank. If you don't know what that is, I would assume most of my audience are here from watching me from Fish Tank, but if you don't know what Fish Tank is, for any non-Fish Tank fans, let me give you like the most extremely brief overview of what Fish Tank is, just so you get the context of it. Fish Tank is an online reality show created by Sam Hyde, who you might have seen from his recent viral Dear Elon video.
I've tried it. It can't be done.
He got a what on him?
View of what
I think that. Oh my gosh! I didn't even. You're right. His nose is a dehumidifier right by itself. Holy shit! I was like, oh no, in this angle it's just no. Damn,
Created by Sam.
that's
Hyde,
crazy.
you might have seen from his recent viral Dear Elon video.
I've tried it. It can't be done. In my laboratory, okay, where Asmongold is right now, down in the basement, I have tried over 150 times to turn an Indian into a Japanese man. And the only thing I was able to
What the fuck am I watching?
time where Asmongold is right now, down in the basement, I have tried over 150 times to turn an Indian into a Japanese man.
I've tried over 150 times to turn an Indian into a Japanese man.
And the only thing I was able to accomplish was boiling them.
Okay. I didn't watch the video beforehand. What the fuck am where? I don't know what to say. What are we talking about?
The show streams on the internet 24/7 inside of a house, and locked inside are contestants who are oblivious to the concept of the show or who Sam Hyde is and his style of comedy. And if you're wondering what my relationship to Fish Tank is, I cover the show on my YouTube channel. Each of the seasons lasts a 6-week period, and I do daily recaps. Inside of this Fish Tank house, this game show house, there's a bunch of cameras and speakers set up in every single room, and you, as a viewer, at any time of day, can jump from one room to another. Because if you remember, it's streaming 24/7. Seeing what's going on, and also to
I just want to point out, normally people just wear thongs if they're trying to be like a little whatever. She's wearing yoga pants and then a thong on top or whatever underwear that technically is called. I just want to point that out.
Seeing what's going on, and also you're able to pay money to send messages which play over those loudspeakers I just mentioned to either encourage your favorite contestant, or as they're called, fish, or be mean to them, which 80% of the time is the latter.
John, you do know that God doesn't let retards into heaven, right? He'll be writing the
What?
us on the highway to hell.
Because the true goal of the show is to mentally torture the contestants through paid fan interactions or the insane challenges and obstacles that they are forced into. The purpose of which is to push
That was common in the 80s and 90s, more so the 80s.
them to their mental limits and either
What's up, Barely?
down at the time.
Oh, well, I don't know. I clicked the button.
Now, down in the...
All right, let's watch that again.
Money is your favorite.
By the way,
24/7.
This I'm pretty sure is recent. Like you said, this whole wearing the thong above the yoga pants is like common in the 80s or 90s. Never heard of that. But also, I'm pretty sure this is the fish tank thing he's saying that's recent and whatever.
Seeing what's going on.
TikTok loves restricting for no reason. They love restricting me the most.
Which play over those loudspeakers a lot louder.
John, you do know that God doesn't let retards into heaven, right? He'll be riding the short bus on the highway to hell.
Because the true goal of the show is to mentally torture the
That's
contestants
probably what just got me banned.
actions or the insane
But it's okay.
obstacles that they are forced into.
I'm used to this treatment.
Which is to push them to their mental limits and either
Save me, Donald Trump.
down and walk off, or
Go with
push
hope.
through and show true grit and resolve with only one.
Thank you for subbing again, Ro.
Sheesh.
4 months.
Unless, of course, the host accidentally loses the grand prize by betting it all on black in a roulette game in Vegas.
All right. What's the show? Go back to the tunnels? Back to the tunnels.
It is very funny, and if you've never seen it, I would highly recommend you watch it next season, whatever that starts. Sushia, at the time, was doing...
I'm such a good friend you are. Thank you.
doing now, but on 90s Japanese TV, of course. I touched on this during the intro, so let me expand upon it a little. Japan, when it comes to game shows, are on a completely different level compared to the West. And at the time, there was a trend amongst this type of content where they would take normal people and place them
He's kind of milking this, bro. Like we already went through this in the prologue in the first 3 minutes. Now he's kind of going over everything again, but expanded right off the bat.
which led to moments that were honest, hilarious, and real. I think this is mostly because Japanese and American culture are so different. In America, you can basically sue for anything, and it's very much like an individualistic culture. How can I better things for me and my family? How can I grow my business? Where in Japan, the mindset is definitely more geared towards a collective culture. How can I better the environment around me for everyone to benefit from? which means when a producer like Tsuchiya, who's willing to break Japan's very rigid and stringent social norms, he has a real easy time bullying and manipulating the contestants because they're polite, malleable, and agreeable. Many shows were riding the wave of embarrassing Japanese people for laughs at the time, but none more famously than Susanoo Denpa Shonen. The basic theme of the show was to take people who wanted to be famous and drop them into insane challenges with no prior...
Hey, I'm a good friend, Ro. I gave you a bunch of heart hands and some other stuff you never noticed before.
To Do Not Proceed, Crazy Youth, which was a play on word.
Level's a little more condensed and covers this same topic, or tub. I kind of want to go through the in-depth one.
Or pun.
As long as he does a good job. But that's kind of interesting right here, where he kind of talks about America is very individualistic, where Japan is more like together, like they focus more on bettering each other.
Easy.
So that I assume he's kind of what's the word? Like taking a liberty with this, because what's the YouTube channel name? Cucumber Feet. I assume he's kind of taking a liberty with this. I can't think of the word assumption, because he is. I think it's a good point.
Social norms. He has a
that he's like kind of like bullying the contestants and whatever, but I feel like that kind of has no bearing, because I feel like that happens in America anyway. Like that happens just as much.
Contestants because they're polite, malleable.
But I guess being polite and whatever. I don't know.
No prior knowledge of what they were signing.
What a name. I know. Trust me.
Susanoo Denpa Shonen roughly translates to Do Not Proceed, Crazy Youth.
I'm not even going to go there. Never mind. I'm going to get banned again.
Predecessor show, Susume.
Here's pineapple on pizza for you. I love pineapple on pizza. Thank you. How the fuck should you do that, though?
Youth. The idea behind the rebranding from telling the youth to move onwards to warning them not to proceed was Tsuchiya's vision of taking the predecessor's formula.
So the director is kind of fucked up in the head. He doesn't care. He can get away with it without getting sued in Japan. I guess that's the point he was kind of making. He didn't really get there, but also I don't know if I got a chance to let him get there.
Idolized them. Like this is if you're like a musician and you look suit.
That makes sense. In Japan, you can't sue for as much as America. Or maybe at all. I'm not exactly sure. He didn't really cover it, but also I am skipping through, so it is what it is, you know?
Nasumi, who had recently moved to Japan with the dream of becoming a famous entertainer, was a fan of Susanoo Denpa Shonen. More so, he was a fan of Tsuchiya. He looked up to him. In his words, he thought of him as a god, which I think is just a bit of a translation thing. Like, I don't think he actually thought he was a...
Okay. I have a story time. With this exact statement right here. So, right, I've heard this saying before, which translates into English directly as "you are my god," which I also agree. I don't think they actually mean it in the serious way that it would be translated here. But without too many details, China and Japan are different, I understand, but I've talked to like one or two Chinese girls, and they have said that sentence to me as well, translated to English. And I remember thinking, what the fuck kind of saying is that? And mind you, they're just basically calling me hot. But instead of saying, dude, you're hot, they're saying, you are my god. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything, but it translates to English a little bit weird. It's an Oriental thing. I don't get it, but I wouldn't get it.
I think he meant like he idolized them. Like this
yeah.
Is, if you're like a musician,
is that their way of calling, bro?
Like my inspiration.
We already get that enough on the stream here. Don't fucking bring the topic back.
Tsuchiya was already considered this avant-garde pioneer who was willing to break Japanese.
Wait, no way. It's fangirling. Okay.
to create one of the most compelling
No, I'm alright with that part.
shows in the country. He was able to take the human experience and boil it down to its core and truly capture.
I can appreciate a good fangirling or two, you know?
Be looking for work at the time, signed up for what he thought was going to be a game show where contestants had to hitchhike across Africa. When he entered the audition on January 1st, 1998, he was told to go stand in a room filled with other contestants. Then Tsuchiya himself walked in. A box was wheeled in, and the contestants are told that to win, all they need is luck, foreshadowing the objective of the coming challenge. The contestants each pull a piece of paper from the box in a lottery, and Nasubi, by complete chance, would win and immediately be blindfolded and pulled from the room. They drove him to an undisclosed house, and he was placed in a room without any pretense to what was going on.
Hi, Tanya. We're just watching Japan's Craziest. He calls it a social experiment. I say it was like a game show, and then it just turned crazy. We haven't really gotten anywhere yet. We're just getting there. You should know that the director is kind of fucked up. He doesn't care about using people. He keeps autocorrected to Antichrist. Typical.
Or even signing a contract.
Truman Show vibes.
Down completely.
I've never watched a Truman Show.
Looked up to Tsuchiya and was a fan of the show.
I know you're new here, barely. So just so you're aware, I will never get any reference. A lot of people reference shows, movies, actors. Sometimes I get anime ones. I'm never gonna get them, bro. I've watched like 10 movies in my life. Hey, but if you reference Spider-Man, though, I've watched all of those.
Show complied, which officially began the challenge. Inside the small studio apartment was a rack of magazines and a stack of envelopes. He would need to enter the magazine sweepstakes for him to procure everything he needed to survive. Food, clothes, entertainment, all the basic necessities would not be provided to him. He would have to win them from magazine sweepstakes. For my Gen Z...
Which is crazy, no? So hold on. Did they leave him food?
And pulled from the room. They drove him to an undisclosed house, and he was placed in a room without any pretense to what was going on or even signing a contract. They told him to strip down completely nude, and Nasubi, who looked up to Tsuchiya and was a fan of the show, complied, which...
That's like way too far. That's so taking advantage.
Challenge. Inside the small studio apartment was a rack of magazines and a stack of envelopes. He would need to enter into magazine sweepstakes for him to procure everything he needed to survive. Food, clothes, entertainment, all the basic necessities would not be provided to him.
That's crazy. They didn't even give him like food or water or anything? I mean, I'm sure they made it. Oh, okay, I'm gonna guess this because I know a little bit. I'm sure they made him enter some competitions for like or sweepstakes or whatever for like water or something, and then they probably just gave him food or water so he doesn't die or whatever. Which Spider-Man movies? All of them. Might as well tie them up.
Who would have to win them from magazine sweepstakes. For my Gen Z viewers, back in the day, companies would often buy ad space in magazines and run sweepstakes. All you really have to do is send in your name and address to the company. Sometimes you have to write like an essay or something. For this example, let's say Pringles was running the sweepstakes and you'd won, they'd send you a case of their newest flavor of potato chip, Baja Blast, a new collaboration with Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew broke up with Doritos in this analogy because Doritos cheated on them with Dr. Pepper. But I digress. It's a way to build...
What? Does anyone get that? I don't get that reference.
...brand loyalty by giving out free samples of their new product.
This is basically torture porn?
So if Nasubi wanted pants, for instance...
I wouldn't go that far.
...that actually had a sweepstake for pants, enter it.
But it does seem crazy.
He delivered before he could wear pants.
The one thing I do know, going into this show, the one thing I do know, at least I believe I know. Okay, maybe I don't know, but I think I'm pretty sure I'm right. This show was like, no, in Japan, nobody knew that it was real when the show was airing, and then I think later on, people were catching on to the fact that it was real, and then it was too crazy. What's up, Isabel? I did have a good day today. I actually did. And I slept, allegedly. Thanks for asking.
For all of the prizes he'd win over time had to equal at least one.
But I'm assuming, I'm assuming based off previous information, which I'm pretty sure is correct. But I could be wrong. So there's a chance the Japanese are just crazy. But there is a chance that I am wrong. But that's what I believe, that they were all under the false pretense that this was fake.
Million yen, which when you account for inflation in today's yen is about 1,300,000.
No, wait, I want to make a prediction that fuck it, let's just watch.
And if you convert that into USD, it's around $8,300, which doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but keep in mind that if you win like a 3-pack of Cheetos flavored macaroni and cheese, that's only worth like $8, 1/1000th of your end goal. Just like Fish Tank, he had 2 cameras in the room, but instead of being live streamed as this was in the 1990s, the challenges would be edited down into a weekly format.
Don't make any bets.
8 to 10 minute segments.
Unless it's with you, I don't plan to. I would lose.
These ladies having fun with green screen technology being interspersed throughout. I'm just going to be straight with you because I actually wanted to include this. Those wacky Japanese ladies, the footage for them is very sparse.
Why is he naked? That's just what they chose.
You can't legally watch the show anywhere, but the show had been archived on archive.org. So I did manage to grab every moment of it and watch the
I think he had the like, I don't know why.
entirety.
They just told him to get to strip. I bet actually, now that I think that's a good question. What if that director just got a hard on
Experience on the show,
for that?
but it's only him in the house.
Basically got caught mentally scarring people, so I see where Mr. Beast got his ideas.
Green screen ladies here going forward.
Mr. Beast is much more tame than this. What's up, Indigo?
That the show probably wouldn't even air because he was naked. And you know how Japan is about blurring nudity. So during
Hey, wait, whoa, I missed the best part. Hold on. What are we talking about?
even air because he was naked. And you know how Japan is about blurring nudity.
Why does this guy just show the craziest stuff? Barely censored. Kind of hot though. Anyway,
Entire filming of the show. Not only did Natsubi have little to no contact with the outside world, he also had no idea that the show was even live. Very Fish Tank-like. Try to keep this in mind as the show progresses. Another little game for the fish
he didn't know the show was live.
of the show is about getting famous, very similar to Act 1 of Season 3 of Fish Tank. The difference between this and the famous house ruse of Act 1 of Season 3 of Fish Tank was Natsubi was told that there was no chance that this would even air, which kind of defeats the purpose of the show for him, meaning he was actually just doing this entire experience for the love of the game, I guess.
He was told this wouldn't even air? That's crazy. Fish Tank is insane. I have not even heard of Fish Tank till right now. He was so what would be the point? What kind of lie is that? And how could he not kind of see through it? It wasn't going to be aired? Get naked? Why do it? Dude, there's one clip that sticks on my mind. And Tanya, that literally happens later on. But he doesn't ask why. They just say get naked and he does it.
Side of the seat cushion he'd occasionally use to self-censor, the rack of magazines.
I've seen. Why are we watching Japanese? I've seen this on my own. I don't need in Twitch. You've never seen this.
Envelopes.
You've never seen this.
He was given a few more items in his inventory. Well, a ballpoint pen, I should have mentioned that. A shower, though shampoo and soap had to be one. A radio, which he could
Wait.
envelopes to mail them, sneak in while he was sleeping and restock, some postcards to write on, envelopes to mail them. He was given a few more items in his inventory. Well, a ballpoint pen, I should have mentioned that. A shower, though shampoo and soap had to be one. A radio, which he could use to enter sweepstakes at radio stations. A telephone, which could call out, but it was for emergencies only. A small gas stove, and that's it, like no pots and pans or anything.
Which could call out. So basically he could get phone calls, but he can only really call if it was an emergency. That makes it more weird. Like, hey buddy, we're just gonna film you naked for TV just for us. Not for TV, just for us. There's so much I don't get, but one thing he did mention that the guy here is 23 and he really looked up to the director. So I guess the director basically just took full advantage.
A sink, and a small table to write on.
It makes it very weird. Nothing about this is normal in the slightest. Nothing about this is normal in the slightest.
Nothing else. That guy lied. Obviously, he needed a little food, and so until he would start winning food...
What's fish tank? I have no idea, Tanya.
Sneak in and drop off little care packages.
I honestly don't know.
All accounts, all he was given was a very small amount of crackers to eat. Production would also take that time to change the tapes and the cameras, and then return to their production room, which was actually just the apartment beside his. The show would censor his genitals with an eggplant emoji, way before it became a goon or a hieroglyph, and that's pretty much it. Production would leave. He'd basically have no contact with the outside
Interesting, they kind of predicted that.
world or even production.
I wonder why they chose that.
Begins. He'd spent...
Oh, because his nickname was Nasubi. Nasubi is eggplant in Japanese.
Toiling away, submitting to hundreds of prizes within the first 2 months. Nasubi is a pretty wiry guy to begin with, and since crackers were his only source of sustenance, he really began to deteriorate physically. Whatever muscle mass he did have just completely withered away. Another item he was given, I don't know if I mentioned this one actually, was a diary. Sections from his diary would be read on air. They're used as like his inner monologue narrating events that would be...
All right, this is the stupidest fun fact you're going to hear from me, but I'm full of them.
Section...
Fish tank is a competition where contestants live in a camera monitored house, but like insane stuff. I'm assuming you meant to finish happens. Fun fact, this notebook is like a brand name notebook. It's basically like Mead or like 5-star, like in America. I remember ordering this for whatever reason. I had like the shortest like spurt of like getting into whatever that word is called, where it's just like about pens and paper and stuff like that. I can't remember. I bought one of these notebooks. Can't lie, I loved how thin it was. And if it wasn't kind of expensive to get, I would get more. It's super thin. And then like
his inner monologue narrative.
I also write with a fountain pen. And the paper is actually good for it. Journaling? Nah, it was for like school.
Events that happen.
I have a journal. I have multiple, and I do journal, but I didn't use that. I use other stuff.
Because he was on a social...
Actually, I used to journal. I don't have the time anymore.
Were extremely sparse. He would, though, occasionally have human contact, such as he got a call from a telemarketer one day who spent 30 minutes on the phone with him. Even though he couldn't purchase anything since he didn't have any money, he was yearning for that social interaction.
Damn.
Also get food from a delivery guy.
He spent 30 minutes with a telemarketer because he was so deprived of human contact. Meanwhile, if I even like hear a hello from a telemarketer, I'm hanging up and then fucking blocking.
One day who had gotten the wrong address. I can't prove this, but I
am in fact very huggable.
Were staged by production to make content out of what was going on, because essentially nothing happened for the first 2 months. Susunu Denpa Shonen.
I beat you to it. It's fine.
Bits in the past. In fairness,
give me 1,000 likes for beating you to it.
But again, there's no way for me to confirm this, so just a hunch for now. Nasubi won.
You just followed me, bro.
17, and that day he got a double.
That definitely is 1,000 likes worthy right there. They left.
Olympic gold medal, and the second being a carton of 12 fiber jelly beverages. It seems like he was drinking it. They come in like juice boxes with a straw, whatever they are. The two items would bring his winnings to 1,560 yen. And because one of the prizes was food, he'd no longer be getting his cracker deliveries from production. Our protagonist would have to make those 12 fiber jelly alleged beverages last for almost 2 weeks, because after getting notified that he'd won a sweepstakes with a rice company, he'd have to wait for it to arrive in the mail. On day 28, 11 days after surviving exclusively on fiber jelly, he'd finally receive his 5-kilogram bag of uncooked rice. Nasubi is elated, but pretty quickly realizes that he has a stove, but no pot to cook the rice in. He tries it raw, and that's obviously a no-go. So he begins to run some experiments on the grain. To be honest,
the amount of times a Japanese person who had fans took advantage of said fans. I think I could be rich. There was a streamer lady in Japan who took advantage of a male fan who would donate her money, and she basically emotionally made him pay for more money. Then said on live stream that she basically took advantage of him, was about to be married. A new guy. It was thanks to said fan, and the fan stabbed her on the street. Hey. What you just described is the average Twitter user. The amount of times I've gone on Twitter and I literally would have never known about this if I didn't have a Twitter. I don't even use it. I just have it. And those girls that just basically like take advantage of men. You just described Twitter in a nutshell. Heard that she really screwed him in court to where he was basically screwed over financially, and she basically was bragging about how she was about to be married. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, not to sound mean, but she kind of sounds like she deserves it. Keep your live stream real time, showing pre-recorded or loop videos, even if you talk over them, may result in your GIFs being suspended. Man, I don't get no fucking GIFs on TikTok, man. Shut the fuck up already with all this like soft-ass bullshit. Every time TikTok comes up with something, just like, shut the fuck up, man.
Takes an empty fiber jelly container.
Hold on, I want to hear this part. I think this is interesting.
Stove, but no pot to cook the rice in. He tries it raw, and that's obviously a no-go. So he begins to run some experiments on the grain. He takes an empty fiber jelly container juice box thingy and puts the rice in it and some hot water and leaves it overnight. It doesn't taste good at all. So next, he tried putting some rice in the same empty fiber jelly carton with hot water and then places it close to the flame on the gas stove. 3 hours later, Natsubi successfully finds a way to cook his 5-kilogram bag of rice, even using the straws from the fiber jelly as makeshift chopsticks, ensuring that he will not starve to death. Also,
he's using the straws from the juice to make chopsticks. Pretty great. Pretty smart, pretty crazy. You gotta be creative, though. Talk about dessert. Yeah.
A member of production mentions in a 2024 Hulu documentary called The Contestant that if he hadn't won the race when he did, they were probably going to shut down the show due to health concerns because Natsubi was dropping body fat rapidly.
Wait.
Ensuring that he will not starve to death. Also, a member of production mentions in a 2024 Hulu documentary called The Contestant that if he
a member of production in a Hulu documentary, so not the actual director.
hadn't won the race when he did, they were probably going to shut down the show due to health concerns because Natsubi was dropping body fat rapidly. Keep in mind, he's now been locked in a fairly small one-room apartment for over a month without sunlight, minimal human interaction, little to no exercise, and being completely malnourished. Imagine how physically and mentally exhausted he must have been. And that's not even mentioning the emotional toll. These conditions are not that far off from solitary confinement at like a medium security prison. Despite that, Natsubi pushed on, determined to achieve his goal of reaching 1 million yen as we hit month 3 in March of 1998.
So this is all 30 days. Damn, if he didn't get that rice bag, he would have saved himself a lot of trouble.
Natsubi began figuring out how and what to apply for, quitting body soap for the shower, a can of spaghetti sauce with no way to open it, sake, full
a can of spaghetti sauce with no way to open it.
Bicycle, though he only used it once before it kind of fades into the background.
Oh,
Discarded prize.
okay. So all he's really trying to do, I forgot. So the point of the show is for him to also accrue 1 million yen worth of stuff. So the bike is useless, but it gets him closer to that 1 million goal.
Empty can of sake as his new makeshift rice pot. The show calls it sake. It might have been beer, though. He'd win a box of
A can of beer or sake?
which is like a fermented soybean that's served at breakfast over rice in Japan. I would also like to take this time to point out his little victory dances he'd do every time he'd win a prize. They're very funny and endearing, with this natto one being one of my favorites for sure. He'd actually win more food, like some sort of salmon snack. So he actually started acquiring like meal options at this point. He'd also win some fresh strawberries, omugi beef, which is like a high-end cut of steak in Japan, though the actual meat is Australian. Natsubi would also win a pair of panties, which didn't really fit him, so he couldn't wear them, unfortunately. And spoilers, this would be also one of, I think, 3 clothing items he won, so he's naked for the rest of the series. Natsubi's relationship with production was almost non-existent, as they were explicitly told not to interact with him. When they needed to enter the apartment to change the tapes on the cameras, which they do daily, they chose to do it at times when he was asleep. So realistically, the only socializing he could do was the brief moments when the mailman came to the door to drop off a pack.
That's crazy. They're doing that while he's asleep, and he's probably so exhausted by not seeing sunlight and like not talking to anyone. He's probably like a heavy sleeper.
Needless to say, Natsubi began falling into a deep depression.
Oh shit, this is him. See, this is a more in detailed one. From that point on, I started to feel more and more negative.
This was never really addressed on camera, though, during the show. I mean, fair enough. It would kind of ruin the vibe, if you know what I mean. But Natsubi detailed the darkness that was consuming him in his diaries, which would be collected and packaged and sold to the Japanese public without his knowledge. Unfortunately, it looks like they were translated into English, because I would have loved to...
Wait, what?
Without his knowledge. Collected and packaged and sold to the Japanese...
Hi, Ashley. Sorry, I just saw your message. Thanks for following. Finally, somebody joins at an appropriate time. So he journaled, and he deadass could have wrote anything, and they published that? Man, they had no... This director did not give a fuck.
Knowledge. Unfortunately, it looks like they were never translated into English, because I would have loved to read them and share some passages. But Natsubi has spoken about how the isolation affected him in interviews, his 2024 Hulu documentary, and a Reddit AMA. By the end of March, he still needs 900,800 yen to a Reddit AMA.
Wednesday, 4/24. Oh, this doesn't... Hold on, I have, I want to look up something. So, because how did 2 years ago, 7 years, I'm wondering if this YouTuber brought this to light. The Hulu documentary brought it to the mainstream after seeing this, and they did like more of an investigation, you know, did all their stuff. And then that's where he's kind of coming in with the Reddit. This is all new stuff. This is all brand new stuff. I didn't even know about this Hulu thing. I'm pretty sure around the time when I watched Moist Critical's video talking about it, it was before then. Yeah, 3 years ago. It was definitely before then. They must have made so much money from his suffering. I would imagine so. We'll see. I mean, when you think about it, though, the production cost, especially back then, production costs would be higher in general. But for this, all they did was not pay a guy and not even give him like food or water or clothing or anything. He had to figure that all by himself. And all they did was just record it. So they had to spend money on the tapes, and that's it. That's probably where the bulk of the profit came from, is just how little they spent on the production of this. We need an animated remake of this event? No. We don't need people getting any more ideas.
May. By the end of March,
especially with AI,
9,800 yen to reach his goal. And even though he was so far away from his goal, Natsubi seemed to hit his stride at winning the prizes. This include winning real food like Italian chocolates, a Yamucha set, which is not just a Dragon Ball character, but a food, more specifically dim sum, which I just found out. A giant...
Wait, I still want dim sum. I've never had dim sum.
The translations, but it looks like a cross between a
Well, yes, I have.
a spider, so I don't actually know what this is. He also wins some fresh tomatoes. He'd win a TV, but with no antenna or cable, so he couldn't actually watch anything on it. But this does bring...
Hey, you could play Smash on that, though.
...to being able to play a PlayStation game that he won a month prior, a train simulator called Densha to Go, which also came with a special train controller.
He won a PlayStation?
It's allowing him to...
He won a PlayStation and got a TV? He just... Wait. No, he needed a PlayStation. He got PlayStation games, though?
Teeth for the first time in 3 months.
He's getting good at
The
this.
smell, not only his mouth, but like the whole apartment. I'm just kind of thinking about this now. He's been naked and alone for months. No teeth brushing. I'm assuming very little showering. I don't know how long that soapy one lasted, let's be honest here. He's eating live crab monsters, fiber jelly juice, and mostly cooked rice. His musk must have been crazy.
I thought he could
Plays a huge part
walk.
in what you smell like. If you do eat only Mickey D's, you will smell like a slop hog to other people. For Nasabi,
And that's like 50% of the card shop, bro. If it's not fucking crazy ass musk, it's some bullshit ass weed, bro. I swear, half the time I walk into the card shop, most of the time it's weed. But like, bro, can y'all just fucking smell at the holy shit? Can y'all just smell like you took a shower, man? I swear. Ugh. Biggest pet peeve. What did I just walk in on? Stay tuned. I meant like a human-made anime studio doing. No, I meant like well, sure, but like people will just take that concept and then make stupid AI videos about it, and it's even worse. You know what I'm saying? Like Apolita and whatever. I'm just thinking about all the fucking dudes at the card shop. There's this one guy, I've played with him. He's pretty chill for the most part, but bro, he stinks like weed. Bro. Like I don't smoke it. I don't smoke weed. So I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, whatever. Hey, that's so cool, or like, oh, I'm used to the smell. It doesn't bother me, bro. It bothers me. It smells like skunk. Literally, exactly, bro. Why do you have to walk it? And it makes it worse that there's a weed store right next to us. It's almost every time we see him too. Literally every time I've seen that particular guy, that dude stinks like weed, bro. He might as well have two fucking white stripes going down his back because he smells like a whole ass skunk.
can't even fathom the odor seeping through his pores. A doctor stopped by for a physical and said that everything was fine, which I don't buy at all. He had to have been
The doctor, bro, I don't know how it looks for you guys, but how does the doctor walk in and be like, oh yeah, he looks good, he looks great, like, hey, bro, we can see his rib cage, and also he's psychotic.
all the essential vitamins at this point. Like he hasn't even seen sunlight. Where's his vitamin D levels at? This doctor sucks.
Why are so many people stinky? Because they save money on showers to spend more money on Magic the Gathering
His
cards
second article of
or weed.
a pair of dress shoes. Unlike the woman's panties, I'm not sure why I made those genders. Panties are just for women. The shoes actually did good.
I didn't even notice.
But he decided not to wear them because he didn't see the point in only wearing shoes. It would be a little silly. Continuing his absurd diet, he won a bunch of wet dog food. He wasn't a fan. And then a bunch of dry dog food. He thought it was pretty good. By the end of June, 6 months into the experience, he didn't even know he was being broadcast. He managed to whittle his total down to 550,550 yen.
6 months into it.
Speaking of not knowing it was broadcast, I guess now's the time to talk about the show and its audience. Over the course of 6 months, Nasabi's segment on Susunu Denpa Shonen became one of, if not the most watched TV show in Japan. At his peak, he was averaging 30 million viewers. For context, in case if you don't have a point of reference for TV ratings, one of the most viewed TV shows of all time was Seinfeld, which at its peak averaged over 32 million viewers in its 9th and final season.
Holy shit.
American
What the fuck is Seinfeld? Japan doesn't care about mental health in general. What's mental health? That's me right there. I mean, fair, I don't care about my mental health either. I need some money. Fuck that, give me some money.
reality show is American Idol, whose most viewed season, season 5, averaged 31 million viewers. Natsume averaged 30 million. In Japan, a country whose population at the time was around 126 million, and America's was around 275.
So they got a fourth of Japan, about a fourth of Japan, watching this one show. So you could go on the street and everybody would have seen it, at least know about the show. You did not just say that Don't worry, Christian. I've heard of Seinfeld. I've never watched it, but I heard of it.
Meaning Natsubi was drawing the same amount of viewers as the most popular shows in history in a country whose population was more than doubled.
Holy shit, he made a whole ass rice ball.
You just pause for a second. I just need to clarify something. As I was about to do the final edit on this video and export it, I was re-listening to myself talking about the $30 million, or the 30 million viewers per episode or whatever, the peak viewership of 30 million. I'm like, that seems suspiciously high. Did I get that wrong? Did I mess that up? Let me just double check that just in case before I actually export the thing and look like a fool. I did find the source where it did say 30 million. It was like from a news clip talking about it at the Times. It was like a news show talking about the show. I think it was a UK news channel. And so obviously they don't really have a source on that 30 million number, 30 million viewers. I did find a lot of articles that said it had an average viewership of 17 million, places like The Guardian, for example. That's not peak viewership, that's average viewer per episode. So there is a realm of possibility where that 30 million peak viewership number is still true. At the very
That's
least,
still
on average every week, 17 million viewers, which is quite a bit. If you want an American equivalent, Game
Right.
of Thrones Season 8, which was the highest viewed season, had an average of 11.99 million viewers.
Holy
The
shit.
17 is small.
That's still crazy. 17 million viewers average. That's a little less than, that's like around 15 to 20% of the entire Japanese population just watching this show. That's crazy.
Smaller than 30, but 17 still big. 30 might also be true. Back to the video. On day 155, a few days into the month
For torture.
Tsuchiya and production snuck into Natsubi's room at night and woke him up. He would confront the man he thought of as God for the first time since day one back in January. Natsubi assumed he surpassed his goal of 1 million yen, to which Tsuchiya replied,
Right, thanks, Scott.
I earned 1 million yen. No.
Instead, he was given a mask and some headphones and was pulled outside without any explanation. Natsubi is having a very real moment, smelling fresh air for the first time since January. He, without explanation, is put into the back of a van that drives around and around for 2 hours. And then
What?
5 hours, to the point where Natsubi falls asleep. Until finally,
They just hate this guy. What the fuck? They're just like 5 hours of unnecessary driving? They're just like, bro, they're just fucking with him. That's messed up. Oops, I wanted to make sure I wasn't being too loud.
reach their final destination. Natsubi, who still knows nothing, is pulled out of the vehicle and placed into a room, where Tsuchiya finally removes the blindfold and headphones, and he's in another small apartment with all of his prizes having been transferred. Tsuchiya
Oh, that's why they did that. So they can move his stuff.
was better luck, and then leaves as a confused and bewildered Natsubi goes back to filling out magazine sweepstakes.
Oh my gosh. Did they do that to slow him down? Like he was winning too much, so they did that to slow him down, and anything he would have won is not going to him? Bro, please stop. People will watch the most depraved stuff. You would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But I'd be surprised if they're watching it on national television this far back. But I mean, the Gladiator or whatever it's called, the Colosseum existed in Rome, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me that much.
What actually happened here is that Natsubi is the first person to have ever been doxxed. Well, not doxxed, but like doxxed. It wasn't live streaming, but like during a live... You know what I mean? I don't know what I mean. Fans were showing up to the old apartment. So for safety reasons, they literally moved his entire world into a new small-sized room. As I mentioned before, a week's worth of content from the show would be edited down to about 5 to 8 to 10 minutes and then aired in front of a live audience on Nippon TV. So in July 1998, production came up with the brilliant idea of live streaming the entire show 24/7 to the internet, possibly making him the world's first streamer / naked ethot, at least for a little while. It turned out to be
Naked ethot. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty expensive, and they needed to shut it down. It's not actually clear when they shut it down, so I can't really give you a date on that, unfortunately. For one, the tech back then was pretty primitive. Watching a 240p stream at 15 FPS anyways. Another major factor was the live stream required a staff of like 50 new employees to man the operation, with a large portion of them, pun intended, being used to censor Natsube's genitals. Again,
That's kind of interesting seeing the tech back then. And the fact that live streaming this was way more expensive.
of them, pun intended, being used to censor.
Whereas now you could live stream on your phone for free. I mean, I'm live streaming. I that wasn't technically free, but when I started live streaming, it was pretty much free. I just had to have the tech. But as long as you have it, it's easy.
Again, this is in Japan, so their relationship with nudity is a lot more prudish than it is in the West. The other notable thing from this month is that he won a VHS tape about how to cure armpit disease. He doesn't have a VCR, but this will come up again very shortly. He also went through a brief arc where the air conditioner broke for a few days in the dead of summer. He was so depleted by the blistering heat, he ended up cracking open the window, which, if he was allowed to do that from the beginning, why was he keeping himself cooped up inside with stagnant air? This seems insane. At the end of the month, he had 526,040 yen remaining, a little under halfway to meeting his goal.
They got this guy sitting in a fucking room for like months with nothing, and they couldn't even just fix an AC like as soon as it happened.
Months of complete isolation. From here, he continued his winning streak, acquiring more prizes like rice, a donut for the pool, and a lighter. He won a vacuum cleaner, and then
Wait, was that a pizza?
donut for the pool, and a light.
That looks like a pizza lighter. Is that not? Is that what? Like what's this? I mean, the quality is so low, but it looks like pizza. Your live is not. Hold on. Your live is not eligible for recommendation as restricted in search results, as we have detected suspicious activity that may violate our integrity and authenticity policies. If you think we made a mistake, you can appeal the decision for consideration. I hate TikTok. Bro. Somebody please. Okay, not seriously, but I bet if somebody donated $1,000, TikTok would shut up, man. I swear, there's way worse streams than me. I literally will, bro, this pisses me off. I will literally be on TikTok, and people are dead ass jacking off or whatever equivalent on TikTok, and I see that shit on my feed, and they're not banned. But I can't watch a video?
He won a vacuum cleaner, and then blindfolded himself and spun around and tried to play piñata with a watermelon he had also won, but accidentally bludgeoned Venus to death. Did I mention Venus? I don't think I did. Venus was like a little plushie thing that he won. I think it was a walrus or like a seal plushie delivery, Fish Tank Season 3. Perhaps it was his attack on Venus, or perhaps it was just tinkering from production.
This guy has to regret this choice now.
Either way, in August,
I'm sure he did for a long time. I'm sure he'll get to it at the end, but I definitely know he went through like some crazy mental health issues later on. Things you would not even think about. There's a few things I remember. TikTok is a scam. Ever since dumbass fucking America bought TikTok, it's been downhill. Downhill. Bullshit.
hit a dry spell. Prizes became fewer and far between. But even if he did win and get a delivery, it was never something useful. He'd win tickets to a Spice Girls concert, for example, which he literally couldn't attend because he was doing the challenge. You know, it's all well and good, but you have to...
If I said I don't know what the Spice Girls are, is that shocking? Hi, Temporal. TikTok is Chinese. China hates Japan. They're self-conscious. TikTok isn't Chinese anymore. It's American now. Or whatever, whoever owns it. It's not Chinese no more, though. Temporal's on a 7-stream streak. Let's go. And they're a sub now. Let's fucking go. Don't you dare say you don't know what Spice Girl is. Did you just get banned? Automod held a message for a reason. Race, ethnicity, or religion. Don't you dare say I don't know what Spice Girl is. It was enough for Twitch to get Twitch's attention and be like, hey man, this has to do with race, religion, or politics or whatever it said. That's fucking funny. Uh you gotta be from Mars or something. I've heard the name Spice Girls. I I don't know what I'm sure there is some girl group. Oh, wait a second, I forgot, Temporal. You were banned. Nice. Let's go. You want to go for another round? Hold on. I kind of want to look up what the Spice Girls are.
Remember, not to be required as
Let's see. Oh, okay. Wait, I think I've heard this song. I was actually thinking about this song. I think.
Say you can handle.
Oh, no. Oh,
Please on as it as I can.
okay. I've heard that. I've heard that.
Just play that game. So what you gonna do? Now that you make you.
Okay, I don't know. But to not know who the Spice Girls are, bro, I live in my own fucking. I'm like Pat, bro. I want you guys to understand. Okay, why can't I see Patrick under a rock? Like, this is me right here. Like, this is me. Okay, this is my house. Okay, all I do is exactly what you see on stream. My parents are Arab. They're old Arab. I promise you they don't know anything about the Spice Girls. The only American thing I grew up with is the Titanic song. Okay. That girl in green is from the Spice Girls? What girl in green? Did you say so on Discord? No. Okay, so you understand some reference. The sum is I guess the sum is an exaggeration. The further I go and with streaming with people, the further I understand some is like an exaggeration. Man vs. Wild was peed on by that girl. Stop fucking referencing. You're like cross-referencing now. What the? I've never heard of Man vs. Wild. I don't think. So are mine. Uh-huh. So am I. What the fuck's your point? You're gonna have to restate your point because I forgot. I don't understand what it's referencing to. But I am a hermit crab. I stay inside. I stream. I play games. Now he's Arab parents. Yes, because mine are old in Arab. They're like 70. No, they're like close to 70 right now. Hey, did I get appealed? I don't know. They don't know anything, bro. Bro. My mom thinks I go to the card shop. I play Magic the Gathering, right? My mom deadass walks up to me the other day and she's like, "Chris, are you gambling?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Are you playing cards? Are you gambling?" I was like, "Dude." She also doesn't know what streaming is. Bro, that's not a point. That's a fucking point and a half. Linked it on your Discord? Oh boy. Oh, what am I fucking watching right now?
that a jellyfish?
There you go. That's a jellyfish. Been washed up.
Is it dead or is it alive?
Said the girl in green, or is that the girl?
Do you need me to pee on you?
Let me see if I can do it.
Should have been me. Should have been me.
Oh, no, puppy. I'm gonna pee on you. You need to pee.
Okay, so this finger is now getting really quite painful. Mel's kindly offered 2 or 3 times to provide some urine. I had a pee about 10 minutes ago. I'm out. And I'm actually getting to the stage where I'm going to take her up on this offer.
Let's see if I can pee myself.
Yeah, I won't look.
Er,
Here you go, look.
This is so inappropriate, by the way. Let's see if I have pee.
Can you take my hand, guide it?
Hold on, I don't want to pee on myself. Are you ready?
If you just relax, then I'll relax.
Can't relax.
Pee on demand, when somebody's in pain, it's very difficult.
There we go. There we go.
There you go. Don't stand up waiting for you.
Ready? Respect. Mel,
should have been me.
she saved my life.
Did you just flick? Holy shit. Oh man. Okay, good to know now this is Spice Girls. Spice Girls, not Spike Girls. That's temporal. To be honest, any Arab parent would think that. My dad didn't. I said you look good, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. It burns when I pee. This is definitely getting you restricted on TikTok. Bro, I was on the Fall Guys pause screen and I got banned on TikTok for bullying and harassment. TikTok doesn't want me to exist. TikTok doesn't want me to exist. Who is this guy? You don't know? You don't know? Peeing on a jellyfish was debunked forever ago. It's not real. Listen, bro. Game is game. You wouldn't understand. Game is game. I respect him. I bet you he knew. I bet you he knew, but he couldn't refuse the offer. And game is game. Pink's your color. I actually agree you know what, Temporal? I actually agree with you for once. It probably was his dream for that to happen, not the jellyfish part. No, I think so. I think he touched that jellyfish intentionally. He knew what he was doing. And game is game. Stay locked in.
A certain threshold of food to be coming in on a regular basis in order for him to sustain himself. I mean, his diet wasn't exactly the best to begin with, but a total lack of food will lower your overall energy and make it exceptionally harder to see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is where Nasabi's depression really began to set in. He never spoke about it on the show. He did detail in his best-selling diaries that he found himself in a real rut and often fantasized about taking his life. Yes, the doors were unlocked and he could leave at any moment, but Natsubi was A, so invested in winning by this point that a loss would bring much personal shame despite having no idea if it would even air. And B, he still looked up to Sushi as a god at this point, a father figure in the entertainment.
Damn, so he could have walked out any time. He just refused to? That's some willpower, bro. I can't even look at a chocolate bar in front of me without just fucking eating it. At some point. This guy didn't walk out for 6 months. He fantasized taking his life over just walking out the door. That's crazy. What are we watching? The craziest Japanese game show. Okay, Temporal. Okay. Basically, they got this guy. There was this director, and this guy was a huge fan of the director, and the director called in a bunch of people and was like, hey, yo, you want to be on my game show? And then 10 people joined. 1 was selected at random. That's the contestant that we have right now. And all he has to do is basically sit in this room naked with no utilities, literally nothing except like water and a shower. And he has to survive by winning sweepstakes. And he literally got so skinny. And he's 6 months in. He can never leave the room. He's not given basic personal supplies, nothing. He just has to win through sweepstakes in magazines. And that's it. we're seeing the decline of his health.
Entertainment industry, if you will. He felt tremendous pressure.
They believe in honor above all else.
Feelings would begin to.
I feel like this is more of a personal thing than like a cultural. They believe in something. This sounds like something where he like he wants success. You ever thought about something like, man, if I just do this one thing, everything in life for me is guaranteed. Like that false belief. Like, it's probably not true, but in your head, especially when you're caught up in the moment, it is. Oh, like an exam. Like, if I just get an A on this one exam, or I get an A on this final, like, I'll pass the class and whatever. And then a lot of times it doesn't end up being that way. Not that I would know. I never failed a class for sure. Yes, wild temporal. It's crazy. It gets crazy.
Feeling like he had been forsaken and left to endure a seemingly endless amount of torture in service of potentially entertaining people in the future. In my estimation, it's pretty clear that he began to develop some sort of Stockholm syndrome. Perhaps because production could sense his state of total despair, or maybe they knew it would draw big numbers in the ratings. One night in August, Sushia and the crew, as per usual, snuck into his apartment during the dead of night and woke him up violently. They blindfolded him, make him listen to loud noises and or music, and then drag him into a van and continue on
Again?
night to their next destination, a boat, where he was still deaf and blind and was transported to a private beach. This little summer vacation beach trip quickly raised Nasubu's spirits. He'd run around frolicking, just doing regular beach things. He'd swim, play in the sand, befriend a giant bunny, BBQ'd some random shellfish.
You can befriend bunnies?
And left the very next day.
I got like 30 of them in my front yard. I've always wanted to pet.
His lack of prizes got so bad, they actually moved him again into a third apartment, hoping it would give him more luck, or perhaps he was doxxed again. It's actually kind of hard to know. When his second and third apartments are talked about, the stories seem to get blended together. Remember, this is all being translated from a language I don't speak, so it's unclear whether or not he was doxxed twice. But regardless of the reason, he was moved to apartment number 3, and it actually worked. He'd finally start receiving some edible prizes, the first of which being potato chips. He also won a VCR, which means he can finally watch his VHS tape on how to cure armpit disease. This tape would also mark the first time he's seen a woman in 10 months. By the end of October, he had 300
rookie numbers. I've gone higher.
Meaning from his final goal. His hair was so long, he began tying it up, giving him that iconic look we all know him for. He won toilet paper. Yes, for the first time in over 10 months, he was able to use toilet paper. It's moments like these when he wins something that is like such a standard household item that I remember that he was really given nothing but crackers, essentially. I don't know if he was given a bidet or something. I mean, this is Japan. But going 10 months without TP is like a...
Do I also play Guild Wars 2 since MMORPG is tagged? You're the first person to even notice that I have tags on Twitch. I haven't tagged anything in like the longest time. No, I gave up. I played Final Fantasy 14 online, and I dropped it. But that's funny. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know people looked at that.
Human rights violation. Prison, at the very least, has a 1-ply. Nasubi has been basically living like a H-1B visa.
Other than that, I play everything. Literally everything.
He then finally completes his gamer arc by winning a PlayStation 1. If you recall, 8 months ago, he got a train called Densha to Go. Controller. And 6 months ago, he won a TV. Now,
you know what? Try next.
Loop, he sits.
I can't do it.
And plays.
I cannot do another, whatever it's called, MMO. I can't. That was too much for my little brain and too much work. I like shorter bursts of stuff, or to be competitive. I don't think I vibe with the very long whatever. Oops.
Video games for 3 days straight, having little to and plays video games for 3 days straight, having little to no sleep and not mailing out any magazines.
What?
He realizes, like Jesus, he had been dead and zombified for 3 days, and it was time to resurrect.
Why is that the second time today? I hear that.
A self-imposed ban on
Interesting. He got a PlayStation. He played for 3 days straight. I agree with that decision. FF14 is good though. I played the whole story. It's not for me. The story seems cool, and I wish I could like just experience the story really fast, but no, it was too much.
All video games.
Too much reading, by the way, too.
He could focus on winning the competition.
I vibe with very long stuff.
Decides the bad's only going to start tomorrow. The rest of the month, he wins a couple of steaks, which is the second time in almost 11 months that he's actually eaten meat.
If I entertain that even a little bit, I give out some information. So I'm proud of you, Temporal.
Or camping.
Damn, bro, that guy.
Counting the wet dog food, I guess. He wins a tent, which allows him to do a little.
No, there's a bit. Oh man, put some perfume on those ankles.
He rounds out November with only 161,866 yen remaining to reach his goal. Well, actually, I lied.
Yeah, I played a PlayStation for 3 days straight.
Final day of November. He gets
Low
so
numbers.
lucky and managed to speedrun his way to victory when he wins a set of 4 tires valued at 80.
I just want to point out he's playing Persona 5 music in the back, and that's one of my favorite games ever. That's it. And best soundtracks ever.
4,000 yen, which brings his new total earnings to 969,114 yen, meaning he only needs a measly 30,886 yen left to reach his goal, about $223 in today's USD currency. Later that day, on November 30th, 1998, he won a gift card worth 10,000 yen.
What?
New total down to only 20,886. A coffee table photo book arrived of Antonio Inoki, who is like Japan's version of Hulk
A
Hogan.
coffee table photo book?
All rolled into one. The man who technically
Does anyone know what a coffee table photo book is?
ever mixed martial arts.
Also, hi, Valerium. I forgot to say hi.
Muhammad Ali in Japan.
Temporal's unbanned.
Factoid for you there. The book's value.
I'm gonna get some. Hold up. Go grab some.
His new goal
Put it to good use.
to just 10,886 yen. He then
I want you to play a PlayStation for 3 days straight. That's my fucking stream. That's my fucking. I got like 9 months on you right now.
4,800 yen, giving him a new goal of 6,086 yen. Then a pan worth 5,000 yen, bringing his goal down to 1,000.
A pan is worth 5,000 yen. Hold on. How much is 5,000 yen? And I'm gonna just say 1999. Is equivalent to. Oh, the yen hasn't. Wow, yen hasn't inflated that much. So 5,000 yen in USD, we can just multiply that by 1.4, 1.14. So that's still around like 30 something dollars.
6, then some rice seasoning with a street value of 500 yen, giving him a final goal of 586 yen. And finally, the last prize, unbeknownst to him, it turned out to be serendip.
Hold on. Isn't it literally a photo book that you would put on a coffee table? People would just look. I mean, I guess that's not much different than like social media, but people would just look up pictures of coffee tables. Oh no, it's a coffee. Whatever, man. I get it. Something else. It's basically a decoration photo book. Interesting. They're common for coffee tables. I mean, I've never seen them, but I mean, what have I seen? Like, what have I ever been exposed to? I'm having fun this stream. Okay, fine. Me and my friend, when we were 11, we found his dad's Playboy magazine. Fine, I know what they are. That actually has no relation, but that did happen, and I just remembered that. That was like a core memory unlocked. And his dad was older at the time, so obviously, you know. Yeah. Can I get your photo book for my table? If I gave you one, you would be disappointed at how many pictures there are that are not me. Their currency hasn't adjusted with inflation for years. Yeah, that's crazy. Apparently nothing. Yeah.
The first real item that helped him survive, a bag of rice valued at 750 yen. His total earnings to 1,164 yen after spending 333 days.
I'm glad you're having fun this stream, Tanya.
Naked, with little to no
Tell your friends.
little to no human interaction, with no knowledge.
Hold on. Hold on. Wait, read the caption.
Little to
This is like everybody on my stream whenever they discover me or they find out they find out about Paul or Barber. Your voice is very cute. Really?
no human interaction, with no knowledge, he had become the Rizzler level famous. A man completely naked in a self-imposed solitary confinement, with the only thing to occupy his time was entering magazine sweepstakes to earn enough swag to survive. Production refrained from cluing him in on what happened and wait for him to fall asleep. Then, in the dead of night, like every time they ship him to a new location, they wake him up with party poppers, and at first doesn't even entertain the idea that he'd won. It's almost like the idea of going back to his normal everyday life has been stripped away and beaten out of him, because all he knows is living in the studio apartment. Eventually, they manage to get him to admit that he'd won, where he instantly appears like a giant weight has been lifted off of his shoulders. Tsuchiya rewards him with the same clothes he had walked in wearing on January 1st. He triumphantly redresses for the first.
All right, before we get into the crazy part, I want to read chat a little bit. He spent nearly a year alone, basically, to get 1,000,000 yen that he would have not worked for. He had to just do it through a sweepstakes, which is just luck, which is crazy. Who's in it then? Susie's in a lot of Susie is in my camera roll. It's not cute, it's hot. Okay. How did I find you through Tumblr? Huh? Tumblr still exists? That's the more confusing part of the question. This is straight torture? It literally is. It literally is. And they always do wake him up at night. They never just like knock when he's awake.
Time in 333 days as he spends one final night in the apartment. But the clothing was so unnatural to him now that it made his skin itchy and he opted to go naked instead.
Act 3. Congratulations for reaching the goal.
Now, if you've made it...
I like this. I like what he did here. I think this is pretty cool.
Please, 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 do not skip to Asmongold reacts to TikTok being sold to Saudi Arabia. My favorite moment is still to come.
Let me give this guy a like and a comment. Keep his numbers boosted. Though I am just a tiny drop in a pond. Tumblr is just my muscular gay escape place. But you didn't actually. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Yours was a joke, right? You didn't actually find me on Tumblr? Please.
The day after Nasubi's victory, Tsuchiya and the rest of production wanted to properly reward our protagonist for his resilience and ironclad will. And it was also a way for them to film just a little more content before they wrap things up. So the first of 3 gifts he was given was a giant bowl of Tokyo's finest ramen. For gift number 2, they blindfolded him, brought him to an airport, sat him on a plane, and flew him to South Korea. You see, on day 13, Nasubi had written in his diary that his favorite food is yakiniku, aka Korean barbecue.
What's up, Lobo?
To Korea, the most authentic version of the dish possible.
Korean barbecue.
Final gift, they re-blindfold him and took him to an amusement park, where he spent the entire day riding roller coasters. Later that day, they made Nasubi buy a giant jar of Korean kimchi. They would blindfold him one final time as they drive 5 hours to his final destination, a new room with magazines and a table, postcards.
Wait, you actually... Hold on. Everybody fucking pause for 1 minute. Whoa. How did you find me on Tumblr? How am I on Tumblr? Bro, I don't even have like 1,000 followers on any fucking platform. How the fuck am I on Tumblr? How the fuck is Tumblr alive? Oh my! I don't even know if I want to know. I don't even know if I want to know. I just play video games, my guy.
I saw you coming. You know why? Because I was coming.
Like, thank you for the follow, but that sound is like the perfect sound to fit with everything. Where's Nida? I don't know. You'll probably find it. Holy shit! I'm on Tumblr. Okay, can you at least tell me? Horny gays find what they need? But what do you mean they're posting about me? And did they tag me at least? But what do you mean they're posting about me? Can you please tell me that they tagged me though?
Pen.
Whatever, what can you do?
Lucia asked him to strip down naked as he's about to enter A Life and Prizes 2.0. A quick aside for fish tank fans. If you've been paying attention, Nasumi basically went to Shitty Town as a brief reprieve for all the torture he was enduring, then was kidnapped and driven to Vegas, and then had to restart the entire show as 2.0. Thematically, yes, there's a lot of major differences between A Life and Prizes and Fish Tank Season 3, but they do have a lot of the same plot points, which is interesting. I mean, A Life in Prizes is basically an elongated cell challenge, let's be honest here. Perhaps this is the Season 0 that Bert had learned about. In the show, Natsubi is seen...
I'm not famous. I don't even have 1,000 followers. And did they tag me?
in reluctantly agreeing almost immediately, stripping down to nothing and going back to flipping through magazines and licking envelopes.
I can't even pay attention to this. But yes, they make him do it again. So hold on. Let's go. Let's rewind a little bit. I'm a little shell shocked at the whole Tumblr thing. First, Tumblr still exists, and I don't even know. I was never on it. It was Ray William Johnson that told me about it when I was a kid. 2, I'm on there.
To his final destination, a new room with magazines and a table, postcards and a pen and envelopes. Sushia asked him to strip down naked as he's about to enter A Life in Prizes 2.0. A quick aside for fish tank fans. If you've been paying attention,
I looked up your name on the pic on Twitch. I looked up your name. I guess I understand. But the real question is if they used a good picture, though. I don't even care what the fuck they use, bro. They could have taken my double chin. I don't care. Did they tag me though?
Nasumi basically went to Shitty Town as a brief reprieve for all the torture he was enduring, then was kidnapped and driven to Vegas, and then had to restart the entire show as 2.0. Thematically, yes, there's a lot of major differences between A Life in Prizes and Fish Tank Season 3, but they do have a lot of the same plot points, which is interesting. I mean, A Life in Prizes is basically an elongated cell challenge, let's be honest here. Perhaps this is the Season 0 that Bert had learned about. In the show, Natsubi is seen reluctantly agreeing almost immediately, stripping down to nothing and going back to flipping through magazines and licking envelopes.
Okay, I know this is the most weird thing to notice.
And going back.
But his hair looks pretty good. Like, it looks healthy, you know?
Immediately, stripping down to nothing.
Like, I feel like my hair is really, like, scraggly these days. But that looks... Damn, maybe I should stop showering. Otherwise, I wouldn't have looked you up right. Listen, man, whatever you do in your free time is up to you. I just want to know if I'm... I guess I am tagged. I don't know, bro. Fuck.
And going back to...
I need someone to do research on this for me. I don't want to look it up.
Camera was Natsubi flat...
Can you stop wearing sleeves? I just want to point out, I've been told I look better in sleeves.
Happened though off camera was Natsubi flat out said no. He had just spent 333 days in near complete isolation. By this point, his mental state was shot. He had done serious damage to himself. That much time spent in isolation sent him spiraling into a deep depression. considering many times throughout the past 333 days of taking his own life. This is like a dog that's been used and abused by his master, being forced to fight other dogs for his master's entertainment, who finally is fighting back. But Sushia,
What the what is this clip?
the master's entertainment, who finally is fighting back. But Sushia, the ultimate opportunist, knowing that if he just kept pressuring Nasabi, he'd be able to make some really good content at the cost of his talent's sanity. Sushia told the rest of production to leave the room. To this day, no one knows what he said or how he was able to convince the visibly upset Natsubi to continue, but after 3 hours of negotiations, Natsubi agreed, kicking off a life in prizes Korea. The moment Sushia
Holy shit.
left the room, his bond with Natsubi would eternally be shattered. The man our protagonist once viewed as a god had now become the devil.
Holy shit. 3 hours of negotiation. And that guy was like, no, no, no. Damn. This guy doesn't give a fuck. And that's Natsubi. So this is part of the documentary. So he's kind of like allowed out. Not the chat objectifying you. Bro, this is nothing new. There's nothing new. I'm a victim. What can I say? Who told you that, Grab? And who told you that? Who told me that? It was Sweetener, Frontal, Nida, I believe. A few other people. It was like one of the first times I wore just a regular fucking t-shirt. Frontal would never. I'm pretty sure that was her. I'm pretty sure. First time. Yeah. Anyways, basically I'm a victim, and that's very obvious.
The overseer.
Oops. Stop doing that.
Own personal hell. On December the 3rd, 1997,
Hold on, what is...
the over and our protagonist
I'm not a god. A god is more like...
the devil, the overseer of his own person.
I am the devil.
On December the 3rd, 1998, day 337, his new challenge would begin. A few things to clarify here. He doesn't need to make 1 million yen to win this time. His goal was to make enough for an economy class plane ticket back to Japan, which at the time was 46,900 yen, which translates to about $340 in today's USD. By the end of the Japanese leg of the challenge, he had gotten so efficient at sweepstakes, he was making between 100 and 200,000 per month. Yen, not dollars. But he's in Korea and doesn't speak Korean. He was given a Korean to Japanese dictionary and a Japanese to Korean dictionary, so he could learn the language he needs to write in and also to read to enter magazine sweepstakes. Also, for his starter food this time, he was given the giant jar of kimchi he was forced to buy. His first step was learning the Korean language, and after a few days into 2.0, he actually managed to win his first prize. It turned out to be a magazine that he couldn't actually read because of a language barrier. But more importantly, for him, this meant he had learned enough of the language to be able to submit and win sweepstakes. His second prize? More kimchi. Over the
No
course of
way.
the next few months,
Kimchi has like no calories in it too. So like this guy is just surviving off fiber and some spice. Frontal would never. We both like the same stuff. You'd be surprised. That's all I can say. But I know you guys are, two peas in a pod. How is he still so happy? I don't think he's happy. They was just talking about how he was depressed and stuff, but I think just winning the stuff gives him like so much dopamine or serotonin or whatever, and with a lack of like that's literally all he would ever feel happiness with. So he has to feel like an abnormal amount, like a disproportionate amount of like dopamine is the right word, right? To just feel happy for that moment. And they probably just cut out anytime he's sad. They upped the difficulty and put him back in the game. He's literally on veteran difficulty. He's on survival mode, literally. Called Stockholm Syndrome? Oh, I've only heard of Stockholm Syndrome. I never looked it up or like got a real definition. Well,
The Korean phase.
we're almost done.
December. By March of 1999, after winning various prizes, he won a giant box of bananas. These were worth 2,500 yen, bringing his total to 47,800 yen, surpassing his goal once again, winning the challenge. And this time, he was given a new secret goal of 57,300 yen, 9,500 more yen than he had already won. This would be enough to upgrade his economy class to a business class flight back to Japan, because production only wanted the best for Nasabi. Or at least that's how it was presented on the TV show. In reality, the devil himself, Tsuchiya, full on knowing what Natsumi's mental state was, since he was reading his diary, transcribing it, and then selling it to people and keeping the lion's share of the money. This was just a way for Tsuchiya to squeeze every last dollar possible out of the man, push the boundaries to their limits, and cash out just before they break. Nasabi had begun suspecting something was up. He knew he should be at least very close to winning, but since he was kept in the dark, decided to push on. As the show rolls on, Nasabi wins some rare, expensive tea leaves worth 14,000 yen, immediately surpassing his goal, bringing him to a total of 61,800 yen. But this time, production moved the goalpost once more. His new goal, unbeknownst to him, is a first-class plane ride back to Japan.
Oh my gosh.
1,600 yen.
They're really pushing the goalpost. Holy fuck. I'm taking notes.
Meaning he needed to win another
High level ups.
1,800 yen. Continuing on into March, he'd win more random prizes until he wins a fox skin scarf, which he nicknames Bikao, which is valued at 12,000 yen, which brings his new total to 85,590 yen, shooting way past his goal and winning a life in prizes in Korea for the third time and winning the show for the fourth time. So production increased his goal from 81,600 yen to 944,440 yen.
Bro. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. I could get nothing.
And instead of flying him first class from Seoul, South Korea back to Tokyo, Japan, they'd fly him first class
I'm a decent man.
France, ostensibly to start again and having Nasabi learn French, which I fully believe they would have done. But by this point, Nasabi had become very suspicious that he hadn't won yet. Tsuchiya was scared that Nasabi would have caught on and walked off without being able to shoot a proper finale and make his final yen off the man. So that night, they actually decided to end the show, sort of. They'd sneak into his room for one last time, but instead of telling him he won, he's blindfolded and flown back to Japan. Meanwhile, a staging area for the finale is being set up. A studio audience of 1,000 people sit patiently as a false room is erected. I'm sure you can put two and two together here, but the audience is instructed to remain silent as Nasabi is gaslit one final time. Tsuchiya guides him to the false room. He gives up his clothing without much pushback this time and sits down, a broken man, waiting to return to his life of monotony. But then a secret countdown clock begins, and as it hits 0, the walls drop, and Nasabi is confronted for the first time with his adoring fans. After spending 433 days alone and dying.
Holy shit, 433 days.
So emotionally scarred from being gaslit by Tsuchiya that he didn't think the victory was real. He was confused, fully expecting some sort of sinister plot twist. The hosts of the show join him and try to convince him that he actually won the show.
ここ、どこか、わかる？
今どこわかる？
Eventually, everything sinks in, and Nasabi collapses with joy. He sat on the stage and watched a montage of all these moments he had no idea had stolen the hearts of millions. Remember, this was one of, if not the most popular show in Japan. In Natsube's mind, he had become an overnight celebrity superstar, a best-selling author. Because just minutes ago, he got naked thinking he might need to spend another year inside for a show that might not even...
Holy.
He takes his bow and leaves the show, going back to a hotel where for the first time was allowed to watch the show that he was the star of. Which is all well and good, but the damage to Natsube was done.
So this was real. This was actually real. There's actual real life consequences, and we're about to see that now. So we're almost done, and we're about to see everything. Oh, wait, we only got 2 minutes left?
He may have been a mega celebrity comedian, booking interviews and a slew of acting work, but inside, he was a wreck. As I mentioned before, he had to relearn how to wear clothes, how to talk to people, how to look at people. He had to remember how to make human connections. The ultimate goal of winning a life in prizes was for him to be a famous entertainer, but at what cost? To quote the man himself, "All I gained from a life of prizes was a skill to survive a life of prizes." But in a happy ending, Natsube didn't just lay down and wallow in his sorrow. He decided to slowly piece his life back together. He began his acting career appearing in many movies and TV shows, most famously landing a recurring role as the Watchman in Carmen Rider W. Being on set definitely helped rebuild his social skills, but the one thing that was stripped of him because of his time on the show was his purpose. He may have achieved his dream of entertaining the world, but once he made it to the top of the mountain, future pun intended, he realized that this was somewhat of a self-indulging, shallow goal. He yearned for something more, and when tragedy struck his hometown of Fukushima in 2011, he finally figured out what was the hole he needed to fill. Fukushima at the time had been hit by a massive tsunami and may have caused a nuclear plant to melt down, but let's not get bogged down by details here. Natsube wanted to help his community, which had been devastated, rebuild. He realized he could use his power of celebrity for something greater than himself, leveraging his status to help raise money for his hometown. As a sort of trade-off, he vowed to climb Mount Everest in exchange for donations, which, if you know anything about Mount Everest, it's super dangerous and many people die trying to climb the tallest mountain in the world, with Natsube taking over a decade to fully recover from the years-long torture. After 3 failed attempts, managed to climb Mount Everest in 2016.
This motherfucker climbed Mount Everest? Holy. I didn't know there was a happy ending to this, though. Because I know he had lack of social skills, like things like you take for granted, like eye contact and whatever. But I didn't realize he did all that. He was a famous actor, all this other stuff. I did not realize all of that. That's crazy. That's a nice ending. Took 10 years to fully recover, though. It's pretty crazy. And just stuff you don't think about, like learning. I guess I thought about it. There have been times where I have been so stuck in my room for long stretches of time that I literally I have to I'm rusty and I have to remember oh yeah, this is how I talk with people and stuff. I can't imagine a year and some change with actual no human contact or speaking or anything. And then just things like clothes make you itchy and you have to get used to wearing clothes again. Crazy. Time to watch Playing It Straight. What the hell is that? I want to be stuck with you for a long time. You got Tumblr, I guess. That's fine. That's good enough. Yeah, at least the ending is a little bittersweet. I kind of at least he did get a career out of it. A very good career. But at the same time, he said the only skill he learned on that survival show is how to survive in that little a skill that's basically useless, which is kind of sucky when you think about it. But then again, he did trudge through a year and he did get his goal achieved. What happened to the director, though? How do you spell his name? Tsuchiya? Natsubi. How do you spell Tsuchiya? Let's look it up. What happened to Tsuchiya after Natsubi? Let's see if he faced any. He never faced any legal or criminal action for a life in prizes, and indeed expressed little to no, and indeed has expressed little to no regret. Little to no regret for doing the show. Quite the opposite, in fact. Tsuchiya is featured in the Hulu documentary and speaks with gleeful pride as he describes starving, isolating, and humiliating not to be for the sake of his television show in a Decider interview with the director of the contestant, British filmmaker Claire Tyson. Tsuchiya doesn't express regret in the way that we would like him to, or the way in which we expect him to. Whether that's a cultural thing or whether that's just Tsuchiya thing, it's hard to tell. Strangely, his biggest apology, in inverted commas, is him taking part in the film itself. Interesting. Yes, level ups you can pin. Let's go. The feature is back. So a masochist? You could say that. I wouldn't say masochist. Because masochists would do that shit for free. I doubt he would want to do that if it wasn't making money. Let's see what the Discord is. By the way, you can join my Discord and recommend me videos to watch. Playing it straight. I don't know if we'll watch this, but could leave it for another time.
So in the end, attention viewers, the male contestants in this program may be lying or misrepresenting themselves at all times.
Something I support. Okay, I might be interested in this.
Including in their interviews.
I'm always a fan of lying and gaslighting.
This sweet, innocent Midwestern girl named Jackie is about to meet 14 men.
Pause.
She thinks she's going to find true love. But not all of the guys are here for romance. Some of them are gay.
I shave my legs, so there's a definite possibility somebody may think I'm gay.
Some people may very well construe baking a cheesecake as being gay.
I am a straight man. Everybody's gay.
Baking a cheesecake is gay. I can't believe this whole time you guys haven't been fucking seeing it. But basically, what you gotta know is, hold on, did you guys hear it at least? Oh my fucking gosh. This is why I need a third, I need a third monitor. I'm gonna go on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm gonna get a third monitor, and it's gonna be small, just so I can see what you guys are seeing, because it gets annoying. Oddly enough, this lasted only one season. I can't see how, bro. It's true. If you are a man and you've ever baked a cheesecake, you are fucking gay.
He's like the biggest flamer I've ever met in my life.
If Jackie ends up picking a straight guy, she and he will each win $500,000.
Wait.
If she falls for a gay guy, he will win the whole million, and she will walk away with nothing.
Every little thing I analyze that they do. I don't think a gay man would kiss me.
You want to do it sitting or standing?
Oh my God, stop it.
She's trying to sniff out the gay guys.
What are your feminine qualities?
I'm not gay. We're here for the money. I mean, we're all out for blood. And I don't know which one of you is starting to spread little rumors or whatever.
That's a little bit much, I think.
Dude, I will bust your head open, all right? It ain't over. Come on, show up.
Oh! What the fuck did I just watch? Oh my gosh! What?
Oh, is that your shoulder? My arm broke.
So in the end, will Jackie find...
Is that your shoulder? Come on, show up.
Oh yeah, Bubba.
Oh, is that your shoulder? No.
But a broken...
How did this only last one season? I have no fucking idea. Totally gay, weak arm as fuck. You know, I bet you he's cooked the cheesecake before. That guy has made a cheesecake. Oh my gosh. Season 1, episode 1. I'm gonna keep that in the archives.
This is your girl, Teresa. And I'm doing a review on the
Hold on, we gotta look at this guy. Okay.